upload this video and share the link with you once I get it. Sometimes it takes some time, so I think we can, to be on a safe side, we can say that it might take a day from when the class happened to until the video becomes available. Okay? So wait for a day, and during that time, I will share the the video and the link with you guys. So then you can view it even offline. So let's see. So if you guys can see the screen, I'll just open this file and we'll see how we can do some programming. So here I have this file. It's called func_1.c cpp, and I have a very simple program. Basically, it consists of main, and in main I have a few print statements. You see on line 7 it is printing hello world, line 9 is printing the line number 8, and I have an integer which I am initializing with the value 22, and then I'm line number 12 I'm printing the value of that integer, and the last line 14 prints goodbye, and then at the end we have a statement called return 0, and then the program finishes. I think all of you understand this program, what it's doing. It's a very simple program doing some print statements. It is declaring a variable of type integer, initializing it with a value, and printing that value from that variable. One thing I again like to emphasize here is the concept of program flow. In C or C++, the program flow, the program starts executing from main, where this curly bracket opens on line number 5. This is where the program will start executing, and then the program flow or the program execution will proceed linearly. In a sense, it would start after this curly bracket, and line by line it would proceed linearly and execute everything that it encounters on these lines sequentially until it reaches the close of this curly bracket in line number 17, and then the program will terminate. So we have discussed this thing already, that the program flow in C++ is linear. It starts with opening of main and continues to execute linearly. One by one it will execute all the statements that it encounters one after the other linearly, and ultimately it will reach the end of the program and it will terminate. So by default, the program flow proceeds linearly. We had some techniques and some methods, some ways of modifying this control flow if we do not want it to proceed in a linear manner. We have discussed this in our class. So can any of you name what ways does C++, the language, provides us to change this linear flow of execution? You guys can either unmute yourself or type in the chat. Loops and selection statements. Okay, very good. So selection statements are also called conditionals. What examples do we have in C++ of conditional statements or selection statements? Come on, that should be easy. If, else, okay, and switch. These are some examples of conditional statements in C++, where we can choose to skip some lines based on a condition. Okay? So the program flow no longer executes linearly, but sometimes it skips some statements and jumps to a location of our choice based on whether a certain condition is true or not. Okay? Very good. And what kind of loops do we have in C++? We have studied 3 types of loops. For loop, very good. While and do while, very good. So again, loops, instead of letting the control flow proceed sequentially forward, loops help us make the control flow jump back to some statement and then repeat those statements. Okay, so loops help us repeat a certain portion of our program, certain lines or statements, until some condition becomes false. Okay, as long as the condition is true, the loop statement will continue to execute the body of the loop. Whatever is contained in the body of the loop, all those statements will be executed repeatedly, and the program flow would not go forward after the body of the loop, but rather will jump back and repeat the body of the loop until that condition controlling the loop becomes false. So today we are going to discuss a new construct or new thing in C++, which also help us modify the control flow, not in the way if else or for statement let us modify the control flow, somewhat differently, but still it modifies the control flow, the execution flow of the program, and those statements are called functions. Okay? I'll write here in comments the name that, or I'll write it in the chat, that the topic that we are discussing today are called functions. Okay? So what are functions? Why do we use them? And how are they helpful? That's what we are going to discuss today and for the next few classes. Before I tell you why, what are functions and how do we use them in C++, I'll first give you some reasoning. Why do we need functions? So that I think will better set the context for functions, and then we can use them. So sometimes you have a piece of code, a set of statements that you want to use repeatedly in your program. Let's say I have a piece of code, I have like 20 or 30 statements, which I would like to use after this line number 6, and then I would like to use them in after line number 8, and then after line number 11, and then after line number 13. So what would I do to use those statements in all these 4 places by your current knowledge? Let's say I have to draw a very complicated, you discussed those things that you build with those stars, triangle, rectangle, or whatever, some kind of star. Let's say there's a very complicated shape that I want to build using asterisk stars. So I write a lot of printf statements, and ultimately I'm able to build shape using, let's say, 100 printf statements, 100 cout statements. So now I want to print that complicated shape at multiple locations in my program. So what would you do currently, based on your current knowledge, if you want to use that code, those 100 statements that print a very complicated shape at multiple points in your program? Copy paste, okay. Write it again. That's one solution, but since it would be exactly the same code, so writing it again and again would be very wasteful. You would spend a lot of time typing something again and again. So copy paste provides you a solution where you can copy this code and paste it in multiple locations in your program. So now when you run your program, that very complicated shape, it will be printed at multiple locations in your program. Now, let's say we want to change this shape. I have a slight modification to make in this shape, the code that prints this shape. So what will you do now? Now that you have pasted your program, this code in your program, let's say at 10 different places. So what would we do to make this change in different parts where I have pasted this code? Right, the going self-made function. We are not, I mean, I'm introducing functions. So let's say right now you don't know how to make functions. So what would you do based on your current knowledge without knowing functions? Change the code in every part. Okay, you have to go manually, go into wherever you have pasted that code, and then you want to change that code manually in all those parts. There are a few problems with this approach. First of all, when you are copy pasting your code multiple times in your program, the same code, which is exactly the same at multiple portions in the program, the size of your code becomes very big. And managing bigger codes is always a problem, because then you have to, whenever you want to look at your code or you want to study what it's doing, you have to go through all these lines, which are basically doing the same thing, but still they are copy pasted at different locations. So all your code size has increased a lot. So this is first problem. The second problem related to this is that when you want to make a change in that particular code that is printing that shape, you have to go at all those places where you have pasted this code and you have to manually make this change. This is a very cumbersome process. It has two disadvantages. First of all, it's very cumbersome. It's going to take a lot of time. The second disadvantage, which is way more serious, is there is a big chance of missing something or making an error. We are humans, we are not machines. So whenever we want to, we are doing something a lot of times, it is very easy for us to get tired, or because of some other reason, we might miss to update some place where that code is written, or we could make an error in one of the places we are making this change. The problem is, like, it can become a lot complicated because these kind of situations arise a lot often, and the places where you copy paste your code. Right now I gave you an example, like you have 100 lines that you have pasted 10 times, but it could be 100 lines pasted 1,000 times, or 100 lines pasted, 1,000 lines pasted 1,000 times. So this problem can become very, very complicated. I hope you have understood the problem. I don't think the screen is stuck. I think it's because I haven't done anything on the screen yet. I was just like making the case for functions. So do you guys see the problem that we have under the scenario that I have just described? Okay. Others? I am not audible enough. Is it only you, or other people also, they are unable to listen clearly? Okay, good. So did you guys understand what I just presented? Like copy pasting a code multiple times in your program it could lead to problems where if we want to modify that code, first of all, we might miss some part where we have that code and we might not able to find it and change it. And secondly, whenever we are making a change, it is if we are doing it multiple times, the probability of making an error increases a lot. Okay? So it is very easy for us to make some erroneous change and make an error at some place. Okay, so if this thing is clear, then I would come to the solution. Functions basically provide us a solution to exact this problem, where we have this code that you want to copy paste at multiple times in your program. You write it once, it's present only once in your program, and we can use it multiple times without copy pasting. So we'll see how it's done using functions. Those asking about attendance, kindly concentrate on the material. Attendance will be taken during the class. I'll take it anytime during this class. Okay? So all those attending this class will be marked present at the time when I take the attendance. I said that attendance will be taken during the class, and all those who are present at that time when attendance is taken during the class, they will be marked present for this session. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so let's see how functions work and how they can solve our problem. Let me go to my terminal. So let's say I have this very complicated code that is printing some shape. So I'll declare a function and I'll write that function only once, and then I'll use it at multiple points in my program. So to give you, yes, does anybody want to say something? Yep. Pointers, yes, we'll do it after the functions. Could you guys please focus on what I am presenting instead of asking questions left and right? You can ask questions about functions or what we are doing if you're not understanding anything, but what we are not doing, instead of asking those questions now, can you ask them later at some place, sometime? Okay, so let's see how functions work. So I'll write a small function and we'll assume that this function basically draws a very complicated shape. So I'll write it and then I'll use it, and then after that I'll discuss the details. Okay. So in lines 4 to 6, I have written a function. What does it mean? For the moment, let's forget about it and let's assume that this is a function. And it contains some code which is very complicated. Okay. So right now it contains only one line, but let's assume that this function contains 1,000 lines of code which prints a very complicated shape or does something very complicated. Now that I have written this code, I want to use it multiple times in my program. So what I would do is that I would use this function multiple times in my program. Let's say I'm using it in all these points in my program. Okay, so this is equivalent to our earlier solution that we had, copy pasting those 1,000 lines of code 4 times. But right now you can see that instead of copy pasting those 1,000 lines, I'm just writing one line to use that code. Okay, so those 1,000 lines would be written inside this function, which is from line 4 to 6. So this solution is exactly equivalent to our earlier solution of copy pasting our code. So let's see what it does. I'll compile it. It's compiled, and if I run it, you see after hello world, it print my complicated shape. Okay, so that's basically equivalent of that complicated shape that we wanted to print. Then after line 8, again it print my complicated shape. Then after the value of num, again it prints that complicated shape, and then in the last line, it again prints that complicated shape. So here, this complicated shape that we wanted to print, it's being printed 4 times because we had used that function 4 times in our code. Okay, so line number 11, 14, 17, and 21. Okay. Ordinarily, we would have copy pasted our 1,000 line code at these locations 4 times. But with functions, we just have to write one line to use that code that we have written inside that function. Before I tell you how it solves the problem, is it clear what this thing is doing? Like what the function means, we'll discuss it shortly, but how we solved our problem, is that thing clear to you guys? What was our problem and whether the function solves it or not? What does what mean? We'll discuss these things line by line, don't worry. Okay, don't worry about these things. But for the moment, I'm just discussing the general concept. What was our problem and how does a function solve it? Means all those 1,000 lines are represented by this one line. Yes, basically whatever is inside the function is being used by this one line. Okay, so this function has right now, I mean, on the face of it, it has only one line of code, but let's assume that it contained 1,000 lines of code. Okay. All those 1,000 lines, we can use them anywhere in our program by writing just one line. Function में कितनी lines की coding कर सकते हैं? As many lines as you want. There is absolutely no limit. Okay, you can you can make as many functions as you want, and each function can have as many lines of code as you want. There is no limit. Wherever we need it anyway. Yes. Wherever we need it, we'll have to write this one line of code to use the code of the function. Okay, we have to write it manually, but it's only one line of code. And there is, let's see what was our problem and how does it solve our problem. Memory ka issue to nahi hai. We are not going to issues like memory, etc. right now. Right? First of all, try to understand what a function is and what was the problem that we were trying to solve and how does it solve the problem. And then we'll discuss what every line means, like void, etc. What do they mean? And then we'll see how we can make different functions and use them. And later on at the end of the course, if you want, you can discuss these issues like memory, etc. Will line 5 be printed as it is? Yes. Whatever is inside the code, inside the function, whatever code is inside the function, like between those curly brackets, it will be executed as it is. Okay. So since now we have, since here we have only one statement inside the curly brackets of the function, and that statement is a print statement. So whenever we use this function, like whenever we use this my complicated shape, parenthesis, open, close, semicolon, it would basically execute the code of the function. So right now, since it's the only one line of code, so it's print my complicated shape. Okay, so run the code again. Okay, I'll run it again. I compile it again, CPP, and then I run it. Okay, so I use that function 4 times inside my main, and it is executing the code of that function 4 times, as you can see by these print statements. Is it clear? Okay, so now we'll see what was our problem and how is it solving our problem. So first of all, our first problem was that we had to copy paste our code multiple times. That would increase the size of our code very much. So here, as you have seen, I have written this code only once, assuming it's a 1000-line code. I write it only once, and whenever I want to use it, instead of copy pasting it, I'm only using one line to use that code. Okay, so here I'm using 4 lines, so use it 4 times. So in our without functions, if we had 1000 lines of code and we wanted to use it n times, our code size would number of lines of our code would have increased n multiplied by 1000. Okay, that would have been a total number of lines of code for that usage. Here, if I have this 1000-line function and I want to use it n times, my total number of lines of code would be 1000. How many number of lines I would have to use in my program to use this 1000-line code n times? In the previous solution, it was n multiplied by 1000. And right now, by using this function solution, no, n multiplied by 1000 was the previous solution. Yes, n is close because I have this 1000 lines of code inside the function plus n, because each time I want to use it, I have to write only one line of code. So 1000 plus n is much less than n multiplied by 1000. Okay, so if the value of n is 500, the old solution would have resulted in 500,000 lines of code, which is much more than 1500, 100 plus 500, 1500, 1000 plus 500, 1500 lines of code, which is the current solution. Okay, is it clear? So functions avoid repeating the code, copy pasting the code multiple times, and it basically reduces the size of our code. N multiplied by 1000, here we have 1000 lines of code. We want to use it n times. So you have to copy paste it n times in your program. So by definition, n times pasting 1,000 lines code, the total number of lines for that code would be n multiplied by 1,000 in your program. Is it clear? Okay, you're not responding, so I hope it's clear. Now, the very good question asked by Saud, time same लगेगा या नहीं? So it is, there is a slight problem. Time slightly varies for both versions, but right now, let's not discuss this time. So can you please ask this question after 2 weeks? Like note it down, and then kindly ask this question like this is week 9, at the end of week 10 or start of week 11. Okay, it is your responsibility to, it's a very good question and it is important that we discuss it, but right now we are not going to discuss it. But kindly ask this question at the end of week 10 or at the start of week 11. So we are assigning this job to you to remember asking this question again. More lines to most compile time. Yeah, we'll discuss it in later when Saud asks this question again. You also, Usman, raise this question again about compiling time, and we'll discuss it in detail. But right now, we are going to focus on how to use a function. So I was telling you, one advantage we had of using function is that our code size will not increase a lot. The second problem we had was that if you want to modify something, we'll have to modify n different portions of the program. And again, it is very easy to miss something and either to miss modifying something or modify something erroneously, causing an error. So again, function solves this problem for us also. How? Because the code that I want to modify is now located in only one part of the program. Okay, so they're like this. Line number 4 to 6. Assume it's a 1,000-line code that we have to use at multiple locations in our program. So now if I want to modify this code, in how many places in my program do I have to make this change? If I am using this code n times in our program. One place. Other answers? Okay, so one place, very good. Okay, the answer is that I have to modify it only in one place, not in n different places like we had in our last solution. Okay, so again, this basically solves our problem of the problem that we had, that when you are modifying at n different places, there is a good chance that you might make an error or miss modifying something. It is easy to miss something or make an error if you are doing it n times, but if you are modifying it in only one place, then like there is very small chance that you will miss something or make an error. Okay, so is it clear? We had two problems without functions, that our code sizes was increasing a lot because of copy pasting, and secondly, with more number of lines, there was a big probability that we might miss something or we might make an error modifying something. So functions basically are a solution to this problem and these two problems, that you write your code only once and then use it in different locations. So since the code is written only once, those 1,000 lines will be written only once, so the code size doesn't increase a lot. And secondly, whenever we want to make a change, we have to modify only one place where that code is written. So again, our probability of making an error is reduced to almost zero or to a very small value, which is again a win for us. Okay. So if this explanation is clear, then I can start going into some technical details about functions. Okay, so okay. If by the way, if anybody has any question right now, what was the problem? How a function solves it? You can ask now. Yes. Uzair, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, sir. I want to ask something. I don't know how to ask question, and nobody is guiding me. I'm continuously sending a message in WhatsApp group, but nobody is guiding me because they seems very busy.
No, they are busy listening to a lecture, so that's their job to listen to a lecture instead of
Yes, sir.
listen. But
Sorry,
here the
sir.
protocol, we had discussed it last time. The protocol here is like you raise a hand as you raised just now, and then I'll ask you to, I'll let you ask a question.
For
So
that, I
please
have
go
to
ahead.
unmute my microphone, or how could I ask a question? Means
You can
what's the
ask it
procedure?
both ways. You can ask it both ways. You can raise your hand, and then if I ask you, you can unmute your mic and talk. Otherwise, you can type your question in chat.
Okay, thank you,
And
sir. I have also sent it a mail, sir, but you haven't replied yet.
mail, no, no,
How?
no. During the lecture, I will not be
No, no,
replying to
sir.
mails.
I sent
Uh,
it on at 8 a.m. morning in the morning, but I haven't
okay. So
received
you
any
wanted to,
reply still.
you no, no. You had asked about the class timings and how we are going to meet.
The other thing is that, sir, I wasn't added in the team, so I came here. I joined the meeting through the link sent by Usman, sir. So you are requested to add me in for future classes.
I think you receive any invitation
No, sir.
last week? Last week?
No, no. I haven't received any.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so I'll look into it and I'll add you. I think now,
Okay.
since
Sir,
you are
me
able to
too.
attend it,
Thank you, sir.
you should be added in the team.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
सर मी टू सर मुझे भी नहीं आया था सर
Okay, okay. So you are amateur.
जी सर
Okay, so I'll try to add Uzair and amateur in your in the teams. So Uzair, have you any other question, or because after asking a question, you should lower the hand, like click on the hand icon again
Okay,
to
sir. Thank you,
follow
sir.
them.
No, sir. I don't have any questions.
Okay, so click on the hand icon again so that it disappears.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So anybody else has any questions?
नो सर
Okay. So let's discuss. I think there's little time left, but let's discuss a couple of things about functions. So functions, basically, whenever you want to use a function, there are a few technical terms that you should know about functions, which are, first of all, we have to declare a function. Declaration, declare and define a function. Okay, so what's the difference? We'll see. Right now, these lines 6, 7, 8, they are doing both function, the tasks. They are declaring as well as defining this function. So once you declare and define a function, it would contain all the code of that function. Now, whenever we want to use that function, we have to call that function. Okay, so right now on line number 13, I am calling this function. Line number 16, again I am calling this function. Okay. So in my program, I am calling this function 4 times. Okay, so calling a function means using that function, executing the code of that function at some point in your program. So that's calling a function. If I declare and define my function and I do not call it, my function will never be executed. Is it clear, the distinction? between declaring and defining as well as calling. Whenever you want to use the code of that function, execute the code of that function, we'll have to call that function. So defining means, okay, I'll come to what defining means. In declaration, can we use any word as function or the specific words of them? Okay, I'll come to this. Can we declare and define it beyond the scope in main? Yeah. How can we call a function? Explain again, please. Okay, so in functions, we have two main parts if you want to use a function. First of all, we have to declare and define a function. Declaring and defining a function means, what did declaration means in variables? What does declaring a variable means? What is it used for? What's the purpose of declaring a variable? Give it space in memory, and also in a way we are basically introducing something new in our program. Okay? Yeah, we tell it the data type, identifier, etc. But basically we are introducing something new in our program, a new variable. That's why we have to declare and define it. Same purpose is served by declaring and defining a function. Okay, so line number 6 to 8, they are declaring and defining a function, which means I am introducing a new function in my program. Okay, because if you want to use this function, we have to first introduce it into our program, and that we do by declaring and defining this function. Once we have declared and defined a function, like we have done in line 6 to 8, we would like to use it in our program using the code of that function at many points in your program. So whenever you want to use a code of the code of that function in our program, technically we call it calling a function. Here at line number 13, I am calling this function. Similarly, line number 16, 20, and 23, I am calling this function a total of 4 times in my program, which means I am using the code of this function, which was declared in line 6 to 8, 4 times in my program. Every time I want to use the code of that function in my program anywhere, I'll have to call that function at that point in my program. Okay, is it clear the difference between declaration and calling a function? What are they both used for? Please repeat. I have repeated it once, but if you want, I'll repeat it again. So whenever we want to use something in our program, we'll first, in C++, we have to introduce that new thing. Whenever we want to use a new variable, we have to introduce that new variable in our program, and we do that by declaring that variable. Similarly, in case of functions, whenever we want to use a function, a new function in our program, we have to introduce that function in our program, and we do that by declaring a function. And similarly, once we have declared that function has been introduced in our program, but that function is still not being used in anywhere in our program. So whenever we want to use an already declared function in our program, we'll have to call that function. Okay. So in line number 6 to 8, I am declaring a function. Okay, so this new function is being introduced in my program by declaring it in lines 6 to 8. And then in line 13, 16, 20, and 23, I'm using this function. So using this function, technically we call it calling a function. So whenever we call that function anywhere in our program, the code of that function will be executed at that point in our program. Okay, is it clear? The distinction between declaring and calling a function. Can we declare it inside the main, only above main? These are again details which we will discuss slowly, but again, another question, if you declare a function inside main, right now I am asking you to understand very simple concepts. What does it mean to declare a function and what does it mean to call a function? All these other details, we will be discussing them slowly in the next few classes. But instead of like answering the question whether you are understanding or not the point that I am currently talking about, I keep questions left and right. We will be discussing all these things at their proper time. How can we call a function? Okay, now that's a good question. But the problem is we are kind of at the end of our time. Okay, so I'll just tell you a few more things. I hope the difference between declaration and calling a function is clear. The purpose of declaring a function and the purpose of calling a function. I hope that's clear. What do we mean by declaring and what do we mean by calling? So if that's clear, then we'll move to the next step. How do you declare a function and how do you call a function? So I'll just introduce a few things and then we'll continue in the next lecture. I'll just write a couple of things here. Whenever we want to introduce a new function, there's a syntax. In C++, everything has a syntax. Okay? Whenever you want to declare a variable, there's a syntax to it. Similarly, if you want to declare a function, there's a syntax to it. So we'll see what is the syntax of declaring a function. Okay. So when you declare a function, the first thing that you have to write when declaring a function is, the syntax demands it is to be the return type of that function. We'll see what does a return type mean, but for the moment, let's say we have declared a return type of a function. And then you have to give a name to that function. Okay, after a return type, you give the name of the function. So name of function. Okay. And then syntax wise, there's a requirement that after the name of the function, there should be an opening parenthesis of the function. Okay. And then before the parenthesis closes, we can give optional arguments to function. There can be 0 or more arguments, let's say 0 or more arguments to a function. And then we close the parenthesis. And then we open a curly bracket. And then before the curly bracket closes, we have to write the body of the function. Okay, so the body of the function is basically all the code that is inside that function. And then we close the curly bracket. Okay, so this is basically the general syntax of declaring and defining a function. So line number 11 basically is giving you a general syntax of declaring and defining a function. We'll discuss it in detail in the next lecture, but right now, if I asked you to map this syntax to a function that I've declared and defined already, like from line 6 to 8, can you guys answer a few questions? Let's say we are talking about the function which is from line 6 to 8. What's the name of this function? We'll discuss what is return type, what is argument in the next class. But right now, I need you to ask. Okay, very good. The name of this function, if you map the syntax one by one to the structure of the function from line 6 to 8, it's very clear that the name of this function is my complicated shape. Very good. What's the return type of this function?
Void.
Void. Okay, very good. By the way, when you are using a mic, first raise your hand and then use a mic. Okay, it will be better this way. Very good. So how many arguments does this function have? Line 6 to 8. 0. Okay, very good. It has no argument. One is wrong. 1 is wrong. This function has no arguments. 0. Okay. Arguments are between the parentheses. Okay. So in that function from line 6 to 8, between the parentheses there is nothing. So it has 0 or no arguments. Okay. Good. How many lines of code does the body of this function contain? 1. Very good. Okay. Good. So, by the way, in this file, if you look at this file, how many functions are there in this file? 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, those who are saying 2, what are the names of these two functions that you see in this file? One, okay. Main, the names of the functions, two functions. One is main and the other is my complicated shape. Very good. Okay? So there are two functions in this file. So I hope by now it's clear to you guys by that looking at the syntax of the main, that main in C++ is also a function. Okay. So there are two functions in this file. One is main and the other is my complicated function. Very good. So a C program is basically a collection of functions. Okay? So if at least it should have one function which is main. So right now, until now, you guys have been using a function main without realizing that main was a function. Okay? So very good. And there's another function called my complicated shape that we introduced in this program. So C programs should have at least one function and it should be named main. Huh? You can't have only one function which is not called main. Cout, etc. we'll discuss it later, and void also we'll discuss it in the next section. What does it mean a return type, and what does it mean to have a return type of void, etc. So so that we'll do it in next class. Okay? So right now, if you guys have any other questions, I mean, we haven't discussed any details. We'll discuss it in next class. But right now, I think the time of the meeting is ending, so we'll have to end our class. I'll take the attendance now. I'll just download this list of participants, and that will be our attendance. Everybody who is present now will be marked present for this section. Just give me a minute. Wait a minute, I have not downloaded the tools yet. Okay, so I am apparently unable to download the list of participants. I'm sir, if you to mute yourself. Okay. All the technical questions that you're asking, I'll answer them in the next class, but right now I need to download the attendance, which apparently is not working. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm unable to access this thing. So I'm in download attendance. So what you guys can do is mark your attendance here in the chat by thank you, Usman, for your photo. You can yes, but right now I'm unable to download that. So what you guys can do is like write your name, like an ID, like U 2020 XYZ and name. Okay, so everybody mark your attendance here in the chat by writing your ID followed by your name. Yes, Uzair, do you want to ask something?
Yes, sir. We have to write our name and reg number. I don't know from where we could send message.
Oh, in the chat, there's a chat icon. Let me share my. Don't you see the chat icon and your?
Send a
bubble.
quick message from here.
Yeah, I think that would be also, that would do it also.
Okay, sir. Kindly count as my reg number is 202509. I will send a message in this also, but please, sir, count me.
Oh, write it here in the message box.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So I can share this thing and Uzair Rahman, I think you are messaging me privately. So you can go in this channel general. Okay, you are typing in general. So I think you should type in the chat of this meeting.
Sir,
Sorry,
where
sir,
do
I'm
you
not
see?
able to. I'm not able to see it.
Okay.
Where is it? In more actions.
No. In this meeting, the window where you see all the participants.
Yes, sir.
Next to this participants icon, there is a small bubble that they use for talking. The small icon for chat. This.
I'm not seeing anything, sir. I'm really sorry.
Oh, okay. So I'll mark you here 2020 509.
Yes, sir.
Did you see this message that I just sent you with your reg number and now name?
I'm not seeing anything. I'm just seeing the names, reg numbers of all students on my screen.
So the reg number basically is the list of participants.
Yes, yes, sir.
At the
I'm seeing
top,
only the
at the top, where you use this hand to raise your hand.
Yes, sir.
Next to
There
this
is
hand icon, there
there
should
are
be some other.
three dots. More action
Okay.
is written. More actions
So
below it.
click on those three dots. What do you see?
Yes, sir. I have clicked on it.
What do you see now?
Device management, meeting details, gallery, together mode, full screen, apply background, turn on live captions, dialpad.
No chat.
No chat. There is no chat.
Okay, so next to these three icons, you have the hand icon, and then what else do you see?
Raise hand. I have clicked
And
on it and
no, not raise hand. Next to raise hand, is there something else also?
show participants.
Okay, next to that.
There is nothing after that
Okay,
on my
okay,
screen.
okay. Okay, so I have typed your name, so we have marked you present, and
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Sir.
we'll see.
सर मेरा वाला हो गया.
Okay, you also don't see anything. Go to live chat, yeah, but how would they go to live chat?
सर
Okay,
मैं ऐड हुई इसमें.
okay. So I think you guys are not perhaps added. Okay, so I'll try to add you guys to this team. Okay, maybe that is the problem. Okay. Sorry. So I've marked you present now, and I'll add you guys again, so you'll be able to see that chat icon on your screens in the next class. So okay. So with this, we'll end this session. So after this session, everybody please disconnect